I've heard that life is what you make it. I say, make room to grow. I'm your host, LaWanda Dockery, and this is the Make Room to Grow podcast. It all started with a dream about growing food, and who would ever imagine that growing food would lead to me learning about personal growth and development? Well, it did, and I want to bring you along for this beautiful ride. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, Grow Nation. How are you today? So today is a rainy day and you may not hear a pristine background, but it's all good. I had to come and talk to you today because it's raining today, but earlier this week, my husband and I were out in the garden, and often what we do is early in the morning, before we log into work or before we do any of our own activities for the day, what we do is check on what we have going on out there. And so we're out there and we noticed that this infamous moth, butterfly, white thingy that we would think is cute, but it really lays eggs on your green leafy vegetables, is out there roaming around. And I know I've talked about this just in terms of how to secure your plants and all that stuff, but I wanted to come with a different perspective today. We're out there and we just have little plants that are maybe 3 weeks old, nothing substantial, maybe just starting to grow the first set of true leaves on them. Some of the plants, only the radishes probably. But I noticed that this thing is flying around and it hit me. I thought of the scripture, 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. So be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walks about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. That is verse 8. I'm like, oh my goodness, this thing is out here on the prowl. Now, we already have our garden bed covered up with some insect mesh, and so it can't get to it, but it's out here prowling. Just in the event that there's a little crack on the cover, just in the event that it has one little opening, one little open door, one little slither, one little possibility of a chance that it can get to one thing out here. Even the ceilings that I had out on my back porch, I covered that with a tool. You may remember I talked about that last year, how I had to secure that. But I'm noticing, it's crazy. We barely are getting started and already we have to be on the defense. How much more is it not important, or how much more is it important that in life we might be on our way to different, goals that we have, or we may be on our way to fulfilling our dreams or visions that God put in our spirit. But don't you know you are going to be met with the adversary? You're going to be met with a challenge. You're going to be met with some type of predator that's going to try to steal what you're trying to get to. And I had to wonder, I said, now, do they come out a certain time of year just because? Do they see that there's food in their midst and they just are on autopilot? They innately come out at a certain time. When you see that, it's almost like vultures flying around. It's almost like, something that comes out and eats on dead things or what have you. It's just certain things in nature kind of gives you clues to how things are happening in the spirit. Don't you know when you are working toward your goals, when you are working toward what God told you to do, to what he put in your spirit, to those gifts that he have locked up inside of you, that seed, don't you know that there is going to be an adversary that's on the prowl? Just in the event that he catches you slipping one day, just in the event that one day that you don't have your guard up, that one day that you're not covered, that one day that you step out of agreement or alignment with the will of God, he's just waiting for that one moment. Like, yes, let me catch him slipping. He flying, he roaming about, he looking, he got a certain vantage point, right? He know you want that harvest. He knows that you're growing something good. He knows that you cooking up something good. He knows you're in the midst of your breakthrough, but here you are Out there doing good, out there trying for something positive, out there pushing towards your next goal, and something comes as an obstacle. Something comes to knock you off your path. Something comes to derail you. I just want to encourage you today that just as well as we see these predators, just as well as we see these things that come to deter us from doing the right thing and from doing what God puts in our spirit to do, He has also equipped us with the opportunity to persevere. He has equipped us with momentum. He has equipped us with vision. He has equipped us with faith. He says that we can put up the shield of faith to quench the fiery darts. We got weaponry, y'all. So I had to come on. I had to come on and just say, when you see the adversary, when you see opposition, knuck if you buck. Right? Knuck if you buck. What you gonna do? Are you gonna turn away? You gonna run because you see something? Because you see an adversary? Because you see a hiccup? Because you see an obstacle? Are you gonna run? Are you gonna fold? Or are you gonna press forward and be like, no, God gave this to me. I will reach my goal. I will apprehend this thing that came from God because it belongs to me. It is my birthright. That's all I got for y'all today. Stop backing up. Press forward. Press forward and just say, knuck if you buck. All right, y'all. I love y'all. You know what I always say? I want you to be intentional about those areas in your life that you are going to make room to grow. Move past the intention this time and do. All right.